iconic. The lyrics in George Michael's music tell much of his story. And now there's a brand new book that's even more telling. The author of George Michael, A Life, James Gavin, joins us live.
Hey, James. So we just saw a clip from George Michael's iconic music video, Freedom, featuring the biggest supermodels. It just takes me right there from the 90s. So why did he choose to feature them instead of himself in the video?
George had seen that group of supermodels all joined together in a gorgeous fashion photo spread, and he loved the simplicity, the starkness, and the glamour of these women together. And at that point, George did not want to appear in his own video because he was done with the George Michael doll that he had created. The image that had traveled the world and had seduced millions of people, this hyper macho butch biker dude. He was done. He wanted to show people what was inside him. And so he arranged for these supermodels, and it wasn't easy to get them. They were all hot as a pistol and expensive, really expensive. And a rising director named David Fincher, whom you know, joined in. And this video was going to be about the immolation of the old George Michael, the leather jacket, the jukebox that had appeared that he had appeared on video screens with. And he was going to not appear, but sing and seduce the world with these gorgeous women.
Oh, smart. And freedom from that whole other side. I do have to ask this. I find this fascinating. George Michael is a celebrated queer icon and sex symbol. However, and a lot of people don't know this, his sexuality was one of his greatest insecurities. And I wanted to know, what part did his father play in all this? And I know he he had a song, Father Figure. And one of the lyrics is, sometimes I think you'll never understand me. I didn't know if you thought, or am I going too deep into this, which I tend to do.
No, I think you're on the money there. His father has everything to do with George's every achievement and every insecurity in life. He spent the whole first half of his life creating this George Michael character because he was determined to show his disbelieving father that he had talent, that he had star quality, and that he was his own man. But because his father had been hugely unsupportive of his music career. And so George achieved fame beyond his wildest imagination. And in 1988, he was the hottest pop star literally in the world. And he was up on stages with millions of girls screaming, playing this character, and he felt like a fraud. And within a few years, George began the second half of his life, which consisted of tearing down George Michael, self-destructing.
So George felt like his career was over after releasing 2 hit albums as a solo artist, which kind of shows a little bit more of his insecurity. This is a weird connection. What did Frank Sinatra do to help him overcome this?
George in the early 90s was doing a lot of public complaining about the record business, about stardom, about Sony. And he gave a Los Angeles Times review in which he essentially whined a lot about the hardships of being a superstar. And Frank showed him tough love. This letter was sent out, but also shared with the press, so it traveled the world. And Frank basically sat him down and in a fatherly way said, listen, buddy, all of us are lucky to be doing what we're doing, who've made it this high. And just be grateful for what you have. No, it's not easy at the top, but all of us can drop to the bottom in a heartbeat. And so just enjoy what you've got. George, by the way, did not take his advice.
Oh, I was going to say, just that simple reframing, but apparently he didn't take it. Listen, I want our viewers to get your book because there's so many incredible stories in here that we did not get to touch on. James, thank you so much for joining us. DBL Nation, you can pick up a copy of George Michael, A Life, where all books are sold. We'll be right back. Freedom.